Hi, I am Shay from Pandapaw Exotics, and this is our reptile no heat survival guide. And this is Hotaru, because he wants to be a butt. This guide specifically applies to African fat-tailed geckos and leopard geckos, since those are the species that I keep. Do not apply all of this information across every animal. This will not work for every animal. Before we start, this is meant to be a temporary emergency solution. If you are facing multiple days without heat, please look into boarding your animals for their safety. Many rescues will help if you ask. I've not been posting much lately, which is normal during brumation season. My animals are just less active. It's winter here in Indiana. I personally don't want to pull them out for content while they're sleeping. That's not fair to them. The main reason, though, that I've been quiet is that last Friday my furnace literally exploded and I've not had heat. Our overnight temperatures were in the upper 50s instead of the mid 60s, which is what we typically maintain during brumation season for ours. My northern breed mutts, like this little guy, he was loving it. He thought it was like Christmas Eve. My reptiles? No. We did not like that at all. We were very lucky. We were able to borrow a space heater for that week, which it helped. Not a lot, but it helped. I have a food safe rack with all of my vivariums on it. I put towels across the rack to help keep heat in. However, I had electricity. Some of y'all won't. I still had electricity. I had to put space between my overhead heating so that there wasn't a fire hazard. Now, many of you are not keeping like me. Many of you are not going to be keeping racks or on shelving units. Most of y'all are going to be having your tank on, say, a coffee table. What you are going to do is you are going to take either a towel or a fire blanket that you can get from a hardware store. You are going to take all of your heating. You're going to take your UVB, your heat lamps, whatever you use. Take that all off of your tank. You do not want a fire as soon as you get power back. You're going to take that all off. You're going to take your towel or your blanket and completely cover your blanket in it. The goal is not to create heat. You are just trying to keep as much heat as you can in that tank. Now, to help keep your temperature up, I personally also slightly increased my humidity. My leopard gecko, for example, I actually raised his humidity up to what my fat tails experienced during their dry season, and it actually upped his temperature by a couple of degrees. Now, that being said, you do not want to swamp your reptiles. Excessive humidity combined with low temperatures are breeding grounds for an RI. Now, the ideal would be if you know that it is going to be cold, you would stop feeding them before, but in 90% of instances, this is not going to be planned. I would stop feeding them as soon as you have your power outage and to cease feeding them until after you get your power back. When I resume my feedings, it will be a small meal to safely get everyone back on track. You do not want to, say if your leopard gecko is eating medium roaches, you are not going to be feeding that 5 to 6 medium roaches to that animal. You are to be feeding 1 or 2 smalls. You do not want to overload them immediately. Now, I get it. I've went through this a couple of times, actually, sadly. This is only my second instance of losing heat with my guys. The first instance, I only had 1 animal. This was a lot easier to deal with. I literally just took them over to my parents and put a blanket over them and everything was fine. Now, I get it. This is scary. No one wants to experience this. Watching your temperatures drop on anything that you heat, you are constantly wondering if everything is enough. It's real, it's stressful. I don't recommend it for anyone. But the most important thing to remember is that panic actually causes more harm than the cold that your geckos, your reptiles are experiencing. Sudden changes in your environment, unsafe heating sources, feeding too soon. Those are the things, however, that cause what can be a manageable situation to turn into a $500 vet trip. Healthy reptiles, however, are more resilient than people think. Stability matters far more than chasing that perfect number. Your goal during having no heat is not to recreate what is normal conditions. It is to reduce stress, safely slow their metabolism, and get your animals through that tough situation. Now, this guide is not about cutting corners or accepting poor care. We're not doing that. It is about making informed but temporary decisions for when things will inevitably go wrong. If you keep reptiles or anything such as fish that require some sort of heat or electricity. I strongly encourage you to plan for this to happen. They do not wait until it is convenient. They will just happen. You want to stay calm, keep your condition stable, and do not be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Your reptiles will thank you in the long run. Now, this is Panapaw Exotics, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys have a good holiday. Bye!